Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's right at 9 o'clock. Um, Miss Miss Ellen, do you mind if I make you a co-host so you can let anybody in that may? Okay, thank you. And that way, if anyone comes in and I don't immediately see them, then they're not just sitting in the waiting room. Um, Once I start to share that PowerPoint, it gets a lot harder to see what's going on. So thank you so much. Okay, everybody, can you see two screens or one?
Hmm.
Two? Okay. How about now?
This one.
This one. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, I wanted to welcome you today to the RSA PTI Independent Futures Network. This is our Oklahoma Advisory Quarterly meeting. It is so surprising to me whenever I see these each time that we're already in year 3. We did the bulk of the work in year 1 when we got everything, all the resources together, and we are slowly filling in the gaps at this point. So again, thank you all for joining us. This is the RSA PTI Independent Futures that Work project, and it is funded through a grant from the U.S. Department of Education, and it is a project of the Alabama Parent Education Center. As you already know, we do record these. These are posted so that anyone can go back and see these at any time. In that way, they are able to see where we're at, what we're doing, and if any one of us misses that, then we can go back and refresh ourselves. So if you don't know me already, and I think most of you do at this point, I'm Letitia Coates. I am the lead for the state of Oklahoma. This is a 6-state project, and I am Oklahoma's lead. This is my email address and my phone number and you can always reach out to me if you have any questions about this project. I have already welcomed you today. I want to welcome you again if anyone hopped on last minute. We will be doing a quick project update, and then we will adjourn, and then I will stop the recording. And if anyone has anything that they want to talk about specifically that doesn't have to do with this project we're already on, we can chit chat for a minute if we need to. So the biggest thing that is going on is there is a new training that the project has provided to us, and it's called Introduction to Work for Youth with Disabilities and Their Families. So there are 4 or 5 of us here at the Parent Center who attended day 1 of this training. It was 3 hours is what it's scheduled. I think it lasted 2.5 hours. There were, like I said, there were 4 or 5 of us who set in on this. And the day 1 is they did the training for us, so that we could see how the training should be presented. And they covered all of these key topics, but essentially what they did is the checklist for working independently. Here we come. They took that and they created a full training for it. It was supposed to be about 3 hours. Again, it was about 2.5 hours. Our plan, they basically said you can pull it, you can do it all together, you can pull it and make it separate trainings, you can do whatever. I think at this point we've learned in Oklahoma that about 1 hour is your limit, and you really start losing people. So as soon as we get the full packet that's already been mailed to us with a flash drive, and it has a lot, they really took a lot of time to find a ton of free resources. So they are sending us a flash drive with all the information, and then we can pull out what we want to present from that, and we will get some trainings scheduled. They had a day 2 of this training that was essentially a train the trainer session, and there were multiple of us that sat on that as well. So we'll be able to offer that across the state, whether that's in person or via Zoom. We will probably start out via Zoom and then move to in person. If we do in person, we won't stretch it out for 3 or 4 weeks. We will just have, one 3-hour session. Basically, we will, with a break and some snacks maybe in the between, but it would be an AM session or a PM session. I don't see a reason to try to get families, if it is in person, to come back for 3 different times. If you get them once, you better go ahead and present with all of the materials at one time. So it, again, there is that checklist that is out there. We have went over it. I've pulled it up a few times. That Working Independently, Here We Come, and they basically took that and expanded on it, and then provided some very specific, some very helpful resources that people can use to get to those goals of essentially, working independently. So, and it talks a lot about, it talks a little about the laws that support those goals, but it talks about those roles that families play, and how the professionals that work with kids, how they really can make a difference, and how they really have some time there, if you start early enough, to really build those skills, so that working is, I mean, available to everyone. I mean, everyone wants to have something to do later in life. So it's a fantastic, again, a fantastic training. We, all of the OPC staff that were on there, felt very, very confident in the materials that they sent, that it was a training that we could easily do. So I'm actually really excited. This is the first full training with resources and full slides, and a train the trainer guide that has came out of the project, so for us to be able to use. So we're really excited to be able to take that and run and get people that information in Oklahoma. It's a good quality training that, again, we're excited to be able to take and run with. So there are the project updates. They are, there's a lot of materials that are on their website, Independent Futures That Work website, that are what they call project resources. Our Oklahoma resources are still all on our website, and we'll be looking over those. By the end of this year, we'll be looking over all of those resources and making sure that all of the links still work. And if they don't, then we will be going back in, because it has been 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years since we've looked at those resources. We want to make sure that all of those links still work, that everything is where it needs to be. That project took almost a year by itself. It was a very long, drawn out process to get all of those resources. So to go back over that website and to double check all of those resources will be another chore in itself. So it's got to be done. It needs to be done. So be looking for that. If you have any resources that you've provided links to, and you know that they've changed already, go ahead and shoot me an email and let me know. And I have a list already that I know that I need to update at least the name of it. If not anything else, maybe it changed from institute to center or something along those lines. So I know there are some things that already need to be changed. So there, by the end of year 3, which is September 30, there will be some new things. They have a learning management system that is coming out, and that will be different modules that are self-paced. You will have to register for those, but that registration, none of it costs. That is, since we are a federal grant program, even the videos that are on our website, you have to do a very brief first name, last name, email address, what's your role kind of thing. Just like you would do if you attended an in-person or a Zoom training. We ask some of the same questions for that. So, and they will be asking questions along those lines, but then they will have these very specific modules that anyone will be able to go in and watch and work through and be able to really learn from those. And that is the goal. The ultimate goal of this grant is to have that learning management system. But if you're like me, a learning management system is very much it's a years process. You don't essentially just hop on, you don't essentially just say, we're going to do a learning management system and it just happened. There's a lot of work and a time that's involved in that. So we're really looking forward to the fact that by the end of year 3, that we'll have some of that on there, and then they will continue to build that. So it's a very it's exciting to me because I like learning management systems personally. I like that self-paced, that I can do it when I have time things, because a lot of times that, especially with all of us, we're all professionals for the most part, but a lot of us are parents on top of that, so that I may not be able to always give my attention, especially in the evenings, for one solid hour to anything without having some distractions. So that self-paced module would be really great for me to be able to go in. It's my preferred learning method. So, but with those, there will also, each one of the 6 states will have some additional in-person trainings and Zoom trainings for people who may learn in different ways. So we're going to give you multiple options on how that you can get that information. So I love this project from this standpoint, because there really is some changes that are happening that are going to make a difference when they get in the hands of the people who need them. They are working on translating all of their tip sheets and their infographics into additional languages and modes. There are some new tip sheets that are available there, again, on their website, the Independent Futures That Work, building self-advocacy, transition assessments, IDEA, Rehabilitation Act, Social Security, and SSI benefits. And that is one of the main things that we've heard over and over again about working, is that once I start work, I will lose all of my benefits. And there are some programs that is not necessarily the case. So again, to get the information into the right hands at the right time is always what we're trying to, across everyone, that's always what you're trying to do. And some of these things really, really make that happen, especially the training that's coming out. It has a lot of information and a lot of resources, and it will be, I think it's one of those things that I know the Parent Center needed to be able to provide people, and I'm hoping it's something that other organizations are really going to benefit from as well. So that is all for today's meeting. I told you guys it would be very short and sweet. I want to thank you all for attending. September 6th at 9 a.m. is our next Zoom, and that will be the last meeting of this technical year. And then the first meeting of next year is December 2023. This is one of those federal grants are always split mid-year. They aren't January to December. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I'm going to stop the recording. I want to thank you guys again for attending, and